What's up? It's Mid-Softing with another Outriders video. If you are interested in playing Outriders Worldslayer when it comes out, the new expansion includes a campaign, a new endgame system, all kinds of new loot, and pretty much anything else you can think of. But the price is pretty steep. It's around $40. You can get it for cheaper if you pre-order it. Luckily, Outriders posted on Twitter yesterday that there is also the full game included if you buy the expansion. So if you are a noob who has never played the game before and you were wondering, can you jump into Worldslayer without having played the game, now is going to be the best time to do so. Let's talk about what that means for Outriders.
We've built Worldslayer for both existing players and new players alike. The original game with all of our updates, improvements and new Horizon content is also included with Worldslayer. The new Worldslayer campaign picks up right after the end of the original, and if you want to, you'll be able to start Worldslayer with a completely fresh character that has been boosted to level 30, so you won't be lagging behind your friends if you are a newbie and they're hardened veterans. And don't fret about skipping ahead to Worldslayer, you'll be able to still progress through Worldslayer first and then jump back into the original game's content. So if you're a complete newbie and you pick up Worldslayer, you'll have everything included.
As you saw in that video, Outriders has announced that you can start Worldslayer with a level 30 character having never played the game before. That means if you're trying to play with your friend who is a veteran of Outriders, you can just jump right in with a level 30 character. Additionally, if you're buying the Worldslayer expansion, you get the full game as well. Coming from me, I have played around 470 hours of Outriders since its release about a year ago, and I took a long break from it too, so you can see how much time I put into it. So that's a lot of content that you can play if you enjoy the game, and that was just for the base game. And now the Worldslayer campaign is adding a whole new end game, all new gear to loot, and a whole new campaign. So there's going to be a lot more content. So the ability to get all of that for one price is really solid. I think it's a great entry point for new players. And of course, the fact that they're including a all new way to start at the expansion with a level 30 character is absolutely fantastic for jumping in and playing with your friends. Now, the only issue I have with that is I'm wondering how we will be compensated for being veteran players. What I'm talking about is, one, for instance, I have all 4 classes leveled to 30. I have 3 of them geared so far. I've been working on my 4th, and I'm wondering if there's going to be any benefit in Worldslayer to me having those characters. Is a new character that starts at 30 going to be completely bare bones and have to find all their gear, or are they going to be viable? Because quite frankly, if they're only level 30 and they don't have level 50 gear yet in Worldslayer, it seems like they're going to get smoked, especially playing with their friend who is already fully geared. So I don't know how that balancing is going to work, and if they do hand over good enough gear for new players to be viable, then it kind of scares me a little bit, because people like me and other people who have played the game, put a ton of hours in to get the loot, it was all pointless. We could have just waited until Worldslayer came out and basically picked up a new character and caught right up and been equal to our opponents. So I'm wondering how that's going to balance out, and I'm also wondering if there's going to be any form of compensation for people who already own the game, because as far as I can tell, maybe I'm wrong, but I pre-ordered the Outriders Worldslayer expansion for full price, and apparently that price includes the base game. So I'm wondering if either I missed something and I wasn't supposed to order that version, even though I couldn't find one that was just the expansion, or if we're going to get something for paying that much money, because it seems like we who already own the game are basically repurchasing Outriders again, just to get the Worldslayer expansion, whereas everybody else is obviously buying it for the first time. So I'm wondering if that's going to be worth it, because I mean, at this point, I'm going to have $100 into the game. I bought it for 60 originally, and now it's going to be 40 bucks for the expansion. So I'm not sure how that works, but that scares me a little bit. Having said that, I do think this is a huge step in the right direction for allowing new players to join. I think one of the most difficult things about jumping into Outriders, especially if you had a friend that was already playing it, is one, leveling. Leveling takes a very long time if you play through the campaign. Obviously, you can power level someone if you just hop into an expedition and just do it real quick. But in the end game, honestly, getting from gear level 30 to 50 is very time consuming. And then getting the proper gear to be able to actually fight in those is even more time consuming. Like, people have played for hundreds of hours and not been able to find certain gear pieces or mods that they need to complete their build. So I'm wondering how this is going to affect that because honestly, people jumping in and playing with their friends has never been easier before. So I'm really hoping that this draws in new players because if you ask me, I know at least in my experience with friends that I've played with, something that turned them off from playing with me was I was basically crushing everything with my fully geared leveled character, and they would come in and it would take them hours and hours and hours of expeditions and whatever else to get their character geared, and they felt useless, honestly. So if they really do scale new players with older players, like players that have been around a while, this might be the best entry point to Outriders we've ever had, especially if they do some serious balancing and bug fixing and things like that. So I really hope that the end game, the Trials of Atari Guitar, are good. I played it a little bit in the closed, I guess, alpha technical test. I don't know what to call it. And it seems really cool to me. I hope the drop rate is good. I hope there's a ton of new legendaries and new builds and ways that we can play the game. I will be very disappointed if there's very few new abilities and builds and mods. Because they've obviously shown us some weapons. They've shown us like 6 weapons, and we've seen some other stuff. We know there's 3 mods on a legendary now and all that kind of stuff. So I'm really hoping that there's a lot of that. I'm talking like 20 plus weapons and like 2 new legendary sets per class or something like that. That gives us a whole new way to play the game. That's what I really want to happen. And I think stuff like that on top of what's already in the game will give these new players who are coming in just so much stuff to grind, like so much cool things that they can do. And I think we as the veterans of Outriders need to do our best to help those people so that this game can kind of live and People Can Fly will hopefully, fix more stuff and continue making the game better. Or maybe this expansion will be it and they'll drop it. I don't know. I don't know what's going to happen. But yeah, that's just kind of my thoughts about the Worldslayer expansion and the ability to start at level 30 and the price of the game, including the original game for new players and Worldslayer. I just wanted to go over that real quick. If you enjoyed this video or just want to talk about Outriders more, please like it and leave me a comment and tell me what you think about this whole thing. And if you want more Outriders content and more Worldslayer stuff when it comes out, please subscribe to my channel. I would greatly, greatly appreciate it. And please check me out on Twitch at twitch.tv/mitsofting. And I hope you have an absolutely fantastic day. You are beautiful. Goodbye.